Well, hello there. My name is Mark Miles, and I love helping trainers, presenters, workshop facilitators really take their results to the next level. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about the topic of getting the beginning right and understanding your audience and the training needs analysis. Now, this is a topic that's not really talked about very much, but ultimately, the more successful you are in analyzing the need for the training and actually what your client actually wants from your training, the more successful your training event or workshop is probably going to be. You see, I can think of countless times, unfortunately, where it's been the one question that I haven't asked that's come back to bite me in the you can fill in the blank, right? Because what we need to realize is that your ability to extrapolate information from the maybe the organizer of the training or maybe the human resource department or the training department that has contracted you to go and deliver that training is really going to give you the information and data to be able to craft your training, but also to be able to navigate any situations you're presented with. So, for example, I've turned up at events thinking it's going to be a, lecture hall. And then suddenly on the day, it's like, no, we're squeezing you into a couple of offices and, you're just going to have, a couple of chairs here and there, and a huge difference in expectations. And I've turned up at events, I've run a workshop, and I thought it went amazing. And then at the end of the day, they whispered in my ear, yeah, that's not what we wanted. And I've come to realize that it's my willingness to ask the questions and your willingness to ask the questions pre-event that will really determine how successful the entire event actually goes. And if you're not willing to ask the tough questions in the beginning, sometimes you can really miss out key information, key facts, key data. All right. So in today's video, I want to just share with you 8 simple questions that you can integrate and include in your training needs analysis interview that you have with an organizer or the corporate client, so to speak. Now, I'm going to presuppose that you've kind of been given a bit of a brief. This is the client, and now you're going to have a preliminary chat with the client pre-event to make sure that you hit the mark, so to speak. So get ready, grab a pen, and get ready to write. Okay, so the first question I want to share with you is kind of point zero, because I'm going to assume that you've already been told this question, but the answer to this question, but it's a great question to re-ask, so to speak. So the first question I highly recommend that you ask is, what has generated the need for this training event? What's been the catalyst for you asking us or asking me to come along and do this training? All right. But that's question zero, because I'm going to assume that you kind of already know that one. Okay. So, what has generated the need for this training event? All right, let's dive to question one. Where will there be any members that may show any physical, mental, or emotional resistance to this training event? All right. So, question one, are there any members or participants that may show any physical, mental, or emotional resistance coming along to this event? I love to ask this question because you want to get this out in the open. So it could be people that have been at the organization for a long period of time, may not see the necessity for it, and may not really be that motivated to come along. All right, great one to ask. Second question is one of the most powerful questions that you ask, and you can ask it at any time at all, but it's a really, really important question to ask. And the question is the following: looking back 6 to 12 months' time, how would you know that the training had been successful? Looking back 6 to 12 months, how would you know that the training had been successful? What would you need to be seeing or hearing within the organization to know it had been successful? And then that leads on to the third question, which is, what else? You see, what we often find is that the person gives us one answer, but really there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we can uncover. So we've got to be willing to ask the tough question. And what else? And what else would you be seeing, hearing within the organization or around you or within your staff that would show you that had been successful? Question 2 and 3 are really golden questions that really extrapolate someone's success criteria. And if we're going to deliver training, we have to make sure that we guide it towards their success criteria. Okay. Because it's not what we think is successful, it's what they ultimately want to see and hear within the organization. All right. Question 4. What is the number one thing or the ideal outcome that you want as an organization? What is the number one thing that you want as an organization? And it's a little bit different to 2 and 3. And I'm going to then lay it out. And I'm going to say, do you want quick completion on tasks? Do you want changed behavior? Do you want upskilling of your workplace? And I'm going to lay out 2 or 3 things that I think they could ultimately want. But I'm going to address it more so the day-to-day operational stuff. All right. Do you want quick completion? Do you want this? Do you want that? What is it? Okay. Because what we often find is that the organizations could be doing it for compliance reasons or for legislation reasons. So you want to capture that as well. All right. And also, maybe you want to also ask, what do you perceive could be the biggest thing that the individuals or participants might want? All right. Because what we often find is organization wants something different to what the individuals want. I said it. Yes, I said it. All right. Next question, logistics. All right, it's another huge area that people often neglect to ask about, but will really impact you when you actually come to deliver the training. So questions such as, who will be organizing catering and what's happening in that area around food and drink? Next question, what do you think will be the shape of the room and how will the room be set up? Next question, around logistics. What time will the trainer or facilitator be able to access the room? Really important question. Next, what will the Wi-Fi facilities be like? All right. Next one. Who will have access to the room and who's the point of contact on the day? All right. Now, all these questions, also such as like, will there be a whiteboard? Will there be a flip chart? All very, very simple, basic questions. But trust me, if you don't ask it, you show up and you get surprises that you didn't expect. All right. Next one. So we've covered off logistics. Question 6 is, has this type of training been done before? And was it successful or unsuccessful? And potentially why? Great question to ask. Was the training or has a similar training ever been done before? And was it successful and why? Or was it potentially unsuccessful and why might that have been? Right? Great information to know before you yourself go in and deliver, because the last thing you want to deliver is something very similar to last time if it was unsuccessful. All right. And if it was successful, great, keep going in there and doing something similar. Now, next question is, are there any learners with potential disabilities or communication challenges or reading and writing challenges that may require any adjustments in how the training is delivered? All right. Now, it's a very, I guess, compliancy type question, or it's a very, it's a question that's got to be asked. It's not really, rah-rah type question. It's very, very operational, but it's a really important question to ask because the last thing that you want is to turn up and that you do have students that you didn't know about that you weren't adequately prepared for. All right. Digital literacy, reading and writing challenges, maybe people with disabilities that you didn't know about, but you do need to cater for. All right. Now, last question. One of the most important questions is, are there any participants that will not be able to attend every section and segment of the entire event? Because what you often find is that you go along to a corporate engagement or even a public engagement, and you have learners that tell you on day one, oh, sorry, I'm going to have to step out at particular times, or I won't be able to attend the last segment, whatever it may be. And you need to know that information up front. because that allows you to then prepare for that and maybe reshuffle different items, different pieces of content. So the question is, are there any participants that may not be able to attend every segment or session? And is there anything that you need to know about in regards to participants' availability? All right. So ultimately, those are just some questions that you can ask prior to your event that are going to arm you up with information that's going to make you even more successful when you deliver the event. But as I said in the beginning, it's the one question that you don't ask that comes back to bite you in the you can fill in the blank. All right. There's so many times where I've been to events and I've been about to deliver something, and then they say, "Oh, but don't forget," or "Yeah, just letting you know." And it's like, oh, you could have told me earlier. But then putting that back on myself, I could have asked the appropriate question that may have elicited that information. All right. So hopefully those questions are valuable there for you. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and share this around so that we can continue to support trainers to be very successful and as a result, give our learners even more great experiences as a learner out there in the workplace or corporate events or any workshops that you are running. Thanks for watching, team, and we'll see you on the next one.